to know why their name was not on the ballot really there, on Saturday, where the party's logo, the party's name was not on the ballot. They've been raising some issues, and then whatever is said here, definitely we will try and get across to the OSEC chairman to react to some of these. Some of people have said it's internal party wrangling within the ranks of COA party, and some people have also said maybe it's the fault really of OSEC on that particular matter. But then we make you have a better understanding of the situations really there. But then the election has come and gone, and then we are just doing sort of a post-mortem. It's a historic one, the first time we're having parliamentary elections at the local government's level right in this in the country, at the local level, at the local council level at this particular point in time. And then also proponents of this particular system have said these will push the discussion and push the arguments really as per restructuring of Nigeria and pushing for parliamentary style of government even here in Nigeria. Proponents have said it's going to cut the cost of governance, is novel, and then it will make government at that level more responsive and really cost effective. We'll be joining the acting chairman of COA party shortly. We're still expecting again Mr. Segun Fanibe, the chairman of Accord party. Then we will be joining later on the phone the chairman of Osun Independent Electoral Commission OSEC, Otumba Segun Oladiton, to look at these issues really this morning. Let's cross over now to the acting chairman of COA party, Mr. Ayomide Akinyemi. Thank you so much for joining us on Frank Talk this morning, Mr. Akinyemi.
Thank you very much, Femi.
Thank you. Your party was expected to be on the ballot on the Saturday at the local council polls here in Osun State. Jude Femi was running in one of the wards in Ilesha East local government. Tell me what happened.
Well, there was actually a technical issue that came up in the course of registering for the election. The technical issue was as a result of INEC not recognizing who the acting chairperson of the party is. The person INEC recognized is one Mr. Boyega Beppo, who has been dismissed from the party since 2013. So, and it's actually the duty of INEC to forward names of chairpersons to OSEC and IPAC. So the person that was recognized by OSEC and IPAC is the so-called Mr. Boyega Beppo. And OSEC and IPAC has been dealing with him right since then. And because of this reason, he said he's not feeding any candidate for the local government election.
It's going to cut the cost of governance is novel, so and then it will make government at that level
participate in the election. Before we're able to sort out the issue, go to INEC.
This spell, does it say that Nigeria is ready for democracy the way it is done in other countries? So I am still very suspicious of this thought force until I see who are the players. Because the number one person that has come out openly to associate himself with the thought force is the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. When he did his letter to the incumbent president, he stated the idea of the thought force and how he is ready to support any coalition that will lead into the thought force, saying that these two dominant parties have not delivered on the dividends of democracy to Nigerians. Like I always say, in as much as I still suspect the activities of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, I still want to align myself to some extent with his patriotism, looking at his antecedent, how he has been very useful to the political landscape and governance issues in Nigeria. But I'm still very suspicious of the thought force until I see the players. But for now, it is still looking like it is the same people in the two dominant parties that are mulling or coming up with the idea of the thought force.
Let's talk about the two biggest political parties that we have now. The PDP, of course, ruled for 16 years. The APC, just like you mentioned, in the third year of his governance. There have been statements, there have been calls saying we need to break away from these two major political parties. Some even say the two political parties is more or less like a recycle bin, where the PDP recycles some of the old members move to the APC. The APC, when some of their good members feel they are not getting what they wanted in the APC, they move to the PDP. Some are saying there's no new agenda, there's nothing new that both parties will bring to the table. simple,
understand the process,
which makes some people also give credence to the fact that what we need now is a thought force, not necessarily politicians getting into that coalition.
Between when you filed your papers to be part of this process and when the election took place, at what point did you make these complaints known to INEC?
Well,
perhaps maybe a coalition of technocrats and key stakeholders when you talk about governance in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, if we can have it go that way, it will be appreciated. But like I said from my first point that I made, for now, the only person that I have seen that is coming from, Obi especially, who is also promoting, has been part of government at one time. She was at some point loyal to the PDP government because she had appointment under the PDP government. I didn't see anything she did differently that will lure me or attract me to her and say she's coming with an option that will be completely different from what the PDP have done in the 16 years and the APC in the 3 years of occupying the presidential seat in the country. Now, I need to see more neutral Nigerians get into the game before I begin to believe any thought force. But for now, I am very suspicious of the thought force, like I keep on maintaining, because the actors that I am seeing, when PDP had crisis during the litigation process, that kept them in court for over 2 years or so, there was a party that was hurriedly put up. I saw the likes of Raymond Dokesi, that was ADP, Advanced People Democratic Party. I saw the likes of them at the launch of that party. I was so shocked when PDP got its victory at the Supreme Court. Most of them returned to the PDP. I thought maybe they were using it as a safe haven in case the Supreme Court verdict does not favor the PDP, then they have a place to land. So for now, I am also seeing the thought force as an idea that most of them are promoting.
The way it is. Your
in case it does not favor them, in case it's looking like, because there has been clamor for President Muhammadu Buhari to declare his intentions, and a lot of people are waiting for his intentions to decide. Like somebody was saying about Saraki during the week, and I was very appalled with that statement with one of the loyalists or aides of Saraki. He said for now APC is the airline they are using. With time they will know whether they will get a boarding ticket, and if they don't get a boarding ticket, they know what to do. So you see the mentality of our politicians. So I am suspicious of
every other party that is actually involved in governance, democracy, and politics and elections. So IPAC is duly and fully recognized as the coalition of political parties,
because the actors that are promoting the ideology of the thought force are
what's going to be the next step of COA party now after this particular debacle?
Well, to a large extent, I could actually say, okay, COA is actually trying to...
Who I know very well, who don't have the credential.
So in a way, I might admit that the force actually came from us. In a way,
because of their past political antecedents to lead the country into the 21st century nation that we want it to be. So I need to see more people come up. We know people in this country that if they come up and promote the idea of thought force, a lot of us will go after them or support them and promote whatever it is. But for now, I am not comfortable with the likes of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, coming up with thought force.
But let's go back a little bit in the build up to the.
We're actually going to capitalize on what we have now, based on the campaign, everything that we've done, to actually see that COA should actually be a force to reckon with in Osun State. Like, the COA is actually another option other than the APC and PDP, and we would like for people to support COA party and the younger generation that are coming up to come and take governance.
All right. Well, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. Mr. Media Akin, the acting chairperson of COA Party here in Osun State. We'll get across to you again as events unfold on this particular matter.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Femi.
Thank you. All right, well, Ayobide Akinyemi, the acting chairperson of COA Party there. We will definitely get the reaction of the OSEC chairman, Otumashegun Oladiton, on that particular matter shortly. As regards why COA Party was not on the ballot for that election on Saturday, especially in Ilesha East local government, where their national youth leader, really, Jude Feromi, was running for one of the councillorship posts in one of the wards there. But I'm joined in the studio this morning by Mr. Segun Fanibe. Is the chairman of Accord Party right here in Osun State. Thank you so much for joining us on Front Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I think you have to apologize to our people for coming behind schedule.
I do apologize for coming late.
Okay, thank you.
It's not intentional.
Tell me what really happened. You had some grievances as regards the election that took place on Saturday.
That's right.
Tell me, what is your grievance really?
In the election process, sometimes when I think I've seen it all, this last Saturday election actually took me on another mileage. What happened was, in my years in politics, I've always learned to understand that even before election, all political parties participating in any election must have access to inspect sensitive material, election material, before they were distributed. No other political party were allowed to inspect the sensitive material. We make inquiries. Even myself, I personally talked to the chairman of OSEC, which he assured me that would be done, but no, it was all game. We were not allowed to. And then at the point where all the materials were delivered, we still went there to actually see for ourselves, because it's our right as a party participating in the election. But we were reviewed. Even some of our people were arrested, like Inori Ade and Obokun. They were arrested for coming closer to the office where APC members were actually were there, toddling with our material, but we were not allowed.
General election started
we were arrested
around 2012.
It was the same pattern. The APC. I do not know what to be the outcome of the election.
The persons you said wanted to check or inspect the electoral materials, were they party agents?
Yes, they were party agents. Yes, they were party with party tags, but they were arrested and locked up. Myself, I went to one in Ife, by Ife Girls High School. We were told that we have no business there. I was sent away.
But are you a party agent?
No. I am the party chairman, because my party agent came to report to me that they were not allowed in the vicinities. That was why I went there myself. And we were not allowed in. And I called in to the OSEC office. I was told to be patient, that at the polling unit, we should be expecting all the material. At exactly 3:14 a.m., I received a call from my team from Modakeke that a minivan came to the center where all these sensitive materials are, and took away loads of the material with armed men. So I even have the number, the license.
Which of the ward was that?
This is the Modakeke. They have a particular location where all these materials were delivered. We have numbers of the vehicles. I called the OCF to make the report on it. They said, oh, that is not possible. They told me. I talked to Chief Segun himself, and I talked to one other commissioner. They told me this is not possible, that I should just be patient. Don't allow situation to get over you and blah, blah, like that. So I waited till the following morning. In the morning, the game started to unfold. One, at many polling units, there were no material delivered. 1, 2, and some polling units, they only brought half. If you open the ballot paper, they didn't start from 001. They are half. I started wondering, how could the ballot paper started with 0058, 0078? It's been torn. You can see the pages. Then so I told my people, just be vigilant. I mean, if this have been taken away, we'll be waiting until they come to dump it. So that was when violence now erupted. They started coming with guns, machete, to scare away people so they can drop the one they've taken away before. It's a total mess. I think before now, I don't know how to I don't know what to call the OCEC, but now I have a name for them. It's a total fraud. I witnessed it myself. Even we have some good evidences.
But Mr. Fani, but that was only in some words in Ife. Don't you think it's to regard the commission as a total fraud?
That's right.
I mean, this is limited, to some words in Ife.
We only contested in 57 words. Okay. 57, and all the 57 experienced the same thing. It was a serious battle. You know, I can give you account of each unit as it happens. And believe me, because we have our people on ground to monitor things, and same report everywhere. Same report. In Modakeke, Ife North, Ife South, East, Central, Oriade, Obokun, Iwo, and Ede. Same thing.
Well, you know, Mr. Fani, but there are people who believe that your party is actually not as popular as you. I mean, maybe as you, maybe and your party members.
That's right.
Intend to believe.
That's right.
I mean, just crying over spilled milk.
That's
here,
right.
That the APC apparently is more popular, and
that's right.
People wanted to vote for the APC. That, I mean, there is no basis for your argument.
That's right. Let me now explain this to you. In every election, you know, I don't think popularity really matters, because it's until after the result of the election comes out. If they actually believe that Accord is not as popular as APC, I wouldn't have expected them to come out with guns, you know, and you know, big cash. Not only gun. At first they brought out cash, which I don't really worry about. But later on, when it comes to violence, even myself, I was attacked, and the gentleman that attacked me was arrested by the area commander of Olanipekun. He arrested the guy himself. He was the one that made the arrest. The guy is still in detention as we speak. Even a serving caretaker chairman was caught printing hundreds of ballots by itself openly.
Well, these are strong allegations.
Yes,
we can definitely verify.
Yes, his name is
no. I mean,
from Ife Central. Yes, I can tell. I'm not lying.
I mean,
he was arrested.
Was that reported to the security agencies?
Yes.
Any action taken?
Yes, he was arrested. They picked him up. They saw him. They picked him up. Two soldiers picked him up.
Did you report all of these infractions you're talking about here to OSEC?
I mean, well, since after that, I've not been talking to OSEC again. But these people that were arrested are still at some of them are still at the More police station in Ife. They were there. What other evidences do you need? You know, the security agents can only do as much. You know, they can't do it all because they will be overpowered. These people were everywhere. You know, life-threatening. I mean, and you know, they were too. They brought guns. These people were unmasked. Everybody have to flee. If truly they are more popular than Accord, they should have allowed a smooth and free and fair election. That's all we ask for. That's all we ask for. You know, I do not compromise with anybody. I do not agree with anybody on anything. All I want is a free and fair election. Let's see the popularity. You know, as popular as they were in the last by-election, they were defeated. But you know, Accord came second, even as a party of 3 weeks old in Osun State. APC came third, Accord came second. That was in the by-election.
In the by-election,
yes, and we were only 3 weeks old that time. Yes, go back and check the results. That was why they got really prepared for this one, to do whatever it takes to get us off the way. And it's a joke. This is just the beginning. So we are a party.
So I mean, so what's the next line of action for your party this time?
Well, until I discuss with my my BOTs and the national body before we know what we are going to do about this. But I can tell you, Accord has come to stay, and there's no amount of intimidation that can stop us.
But have you reported, you know, or do you intend reporting these infractions to OSEC?
I really don't want to deal with OSEC anymore. I've lost the trust.
But in this case, OSEC is the election management body. OSEC is is the umpire.
They lied from the beginning to the end. I believe we actually went into contesting the election because I was trusting OSEC judgment. I met with them from time to time. I asked them questions, and they made me understand that this is going to be different. It's not going to be written. Everything is going to go on smoothly, as you know. But what happened at the end?
But you know, I'm surprised you. I mean, putting the blame on the doorsteps of OSEC. You talked about elections being disrupted at some point, or maybe violence coming up. That apparently is not OSEC's fault.
Well, it's OSEC's fault for have not allowed us to inspect the sensitive material before the election was conducted.
Are you sure that parties were also allowed to inspect?
Yeah, because they were there. We know each other. We know every electoral officer that were hired are members of APC. They were there. We know them. We see that even a party chairman was among the electoral officer. A party chairman was among the electoral officer. Everything from
a party chairman of which party?
Of APC.
In which of the wards?
In Ife, the one I saw in Ife with my open eye. But across the state, ask anyone. All the electoral officers are members of APC. members of APC. The question is, we are not even asking to be members. We just want to inspect the electoral material, the sensitive material, before they were distributed. It's a usual practice. It's a usual practice.
All right. Well, we'll cross over to the chairman of OSEC at this point, Otumba Segun Oladiton, to join us, and then for him to react to some of the issues raised, especially by COA Party and Accord Party, here on the program this morning, to look at what really happened that very day, and what's the position of OSEC on this matter. Thank you so much for joining us on Frank Talk this morning, Otumba Segun Oladiton, the chairman of OSEC. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Good morning, Femi.
Thank you. There are some issues, and I'd like to say, a job well done for the election, conducted on Saturday. But then there are issues really coming after that election. This is some sort of a post-mortem. Let's start with COA Party. They said that they were supposed to be on the ballot, and on Saturday, their party logo, their name, was not on the ballot. Tell us what happened.
Well, I was happy that I personally attended to the immediate past presidential candidate in my office. The professor came from OAU, and he came with the supposedly candidate of COA Party and the chairman for Osun State. A person will only be regarded as participating in an election where he collected the form for this particular election, where he collected the form for councillorship, submitted that form, and paid the necessary administrative charges. COA Party didn't pay 1 kobo. They collected form, yes, truly, yes, they did. But they did not pay 1 kobo for administrative charges, nor did they submit any form. So how could they have participated? Even in Freetown, not everything is free.
There is a fee that the parties are meant to pay as administrative charges to be part of this election.
Yes, there was.
And COA Party did not pay.
Femi, it's not even that. They did not even come back to submit any form for the councillorship election. Few days to the election, they now wrote that inadvertently their leader made some mistake, and there was an internal wrangling. Should OSEC wait for internal wranglings to print the ballot papers? Should OSEC wait for parties that have... there is something we call intention. We were free enough to have given you the forms free of charge. We were open enough to say, look, collect the forms. Even the administrative charges we are referring to, it was the members of political parties in the state that decided, along with us, how much they are going to pay as administrative charges. We didn't collect any money for nomination forms. So if they did not submit their form, nor pay the administrative charges, how could they have participated in the election? This is some things about blackmail. And I hate Nigerians who went out deliberately to smear the personality of others or deliberately to misinform others. It's so sad about Nigeria.
Well, I spoke with the acting state chairman of COA Party earlier today, just before I brought you on here, and then the explanation he offered was that INEC, OSEC rather, and IPAC decided to recognize as the chairman of the party someone who has been expelled from the party since 2013. That was one Mr. Gboyega Beko, and he said that's the main reason why COA Party was not listed on the ballot on Saturday.
Did they protest?
He said they actually launched a protest with OSEC.
That's not true. That is not. Look, you know one thing? As my vocation, which is the law, I look at the basic principles of justice anywhere in the world. Is how the other pattern, here the other side. There is no protestation or protest paper or anything on my table saying that COA is protesting. And whatever is their disagreement, it is an internal wrangling to which OSEC will not be concerned with. If that even occurred within them, what did they do? The National immediate past national presidential candidate of theirs, was in my office, and we discussed. And by the time we had discussed, the professor, the respected lady professor, said, how could you have brought me here when some of the prerequisites you did not fulfill? How could you have said that you want to participate in an election? So it is now after the election, campaign after election, that they are now racing, and they did not do this, they did not. Ask them, where did they protest? Did they write anything to the table of the chairman of FUSEC to say that their party was not recognized? Is it just after the election that they are now recognizing that? You see, if we said that people are participating in the election, when we said nomination will close at so date, what did they do? They are now they are now saying, yeah, their party is not recognized. When we said that nomination will close, which one of them submitted nomination paper to take part in the election? Is there any one of them? Let him show it with the acknowledgement where the nomination paper was accepted by us.
All right.
If it was not accepted, what did they do? I mean, so the campaign of calumny.
Okay, well, the other major party, with some grievances on these elections is the Accord Party. I have the state chairman with me here in the studio, and he said that they were not allowed to inspect, electoral materials and sensitive materials. And he said, that's quite unfortunate.
They were not allowed to inspect sensitive materials. At what point? Ask him at what point.
Well, he's saying that members of the APC were actually allowed to inspect these materials while they were denied.
Where were a particular party allowed to inspect material? When? Where?
Okay, were they allowed to inspect the materials at any point in time?
Was anybody allowed to inspect the materials at the time, and the other parties were excluded? The issue now is when. Was it at the headquarters of OCS? Was it at the place where the electoral officers were taking over the materials? Was it at the polling unit? If it was at the polling unit, you should have lost complete security agents over there. At the polling unit, every presiding officer said, I have here 500 pieces of ballot papers made up of so packets. I have here so. You see, Nigerians are bad losers. And I'm sorry about I know that should be Mr. Fakeye.
Mr. Fanibe. Mr. Shegun Fanibe.
Yes. Shegun Fanibe, yes. It's quite unfortunate. The sort of camaraderie which was accorded him was given to him because we wanted to be open and want to be not just to be open, but to be truly open and to be seen to be very, 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 very open. He had access to my office at any point in time, and throughout the period of election, he did that. Now, inspecting the ballot papers is meant for his party agents at the polling unit. What was delivered there? Did they lodge any complaint? Many of them, and particularly I'm disappointed in him because he is like a sportsman who blames his racket every time he misses the ball. And that's quite unfortunate for an uprising and unexpectedly a growing person like him. There was nowhere throughout the 71 wards where any political party was disallowed from seeing the material, but you can only inspect the materials at the polling units.
Okay.
Did any of his agents lodge a complaint to that effect?
Well, let's put a question to him because he's still with us here. Mr. Fanibe, you heard the chairman of OCEC. Where and when, did this issue of you not being able to inspect electoral materials actually happen?
I heard all he said. Good morning, sir. A usual practice in election that I know. I mean, this is not the first election that I will be involved in. a usual practice is night before the morning of the election, all political party will be called at the state level. We were supposed to be called to OCEC office to inspect the material before they were dispatched.
You are
we
wrong.
should know. We should know.
Very, very wrong, and I disagree with you.
Okay, sir.
You can only inspect the materials at the polling unit.
Then that means
the materials brought, for example, you inspected the materials.
Sir, that means
sir. And I told you that this is 5 million. And at the material time it is being delivered at the polling unit, your unit is expected to have 500, and 400 was delivered. What will have been the effect of the inspection you did at the headquarters?
But now, let me say this. That means, sir, if what you are saying is right, that means INEC has been doing something wrong. Because in the past election, we will be called to the state capital, Osogbo here, to inspect the sensitive materials before they were dispatched. They want to make sure that all political parties participating in the election have access and know exactly what is coming to them. That is one. And when it gets, even some of us will follow.
If you feel strongly about that, let's meet at the tribunal.
Okay. And then, sir, again, secondly, some of us will even follow their vehicle from the office to the various local government where to be dispatched.
You will follow the materials from the time as the electoral officer representing that local government is moving.
Sir, I'm sure you and I are not the only politician listening to this now.
Mr. Fani,
there are thousands of politicians out there listening and they know what I'm saying.
Mr. Fani,
this is the usual practice.
Mr. Fani, looking at, according to the OSEC chairman, you're only allowed to inspect the materials at the polling unit level. Did any of your party agents lodge complaints that they were not allowed to inspect the materials, or were they not allowed to inspect the materials actually at the polling unit?
At the polling unit. Now let me start from there. Let's even put the other one beside. Since he didn't agree with me on that level, let's say at the polling unit. At the polling unit, when we got first, some material were delivered late.
You are wrong. Very, very wrong. I had observers who came from all over Nigeria.
Then your observers are liars. That means your observers are liars.
Fortunately,
yes, sir. I am being sincere with you.
People are made of respected people, retired CJs of some states.
It doesn't matter, sir. You should have listened to us if truly you want to know exactly what went wrong. It's not by you being on the air defending your observer. Some things went wrong, sir.
Who blames the racket?
No, that is not the issue. In every game, there must be a winner and a loser. That is not the fact here. Like myself, sir, like myself, we went into the election even based on the promises you made, personally made, with your integrity. That was why we have chosen to contest. We know what could happen, but you gave us all assurance.
But Mr. Fani, but the question
I could remember that day.
Mr. Fani, but the question here is: were your party agents allowed to inspect the electoral materials at the polling units?
In some polling units, materials were not delivered. One.
They were not delivered on time. Yes, that was what you said.
Some. There was no even material on ground at all. Two.
That means the election did not take place.
Let me explain.
Isn't that what you mean?
Let me explain.
If materials are not delivered, that means the election did not take place.
That's right.
Is that possible?
That's right. It's possible. It's possible. Well, another one. It was at the last minute they brought the bag. Can I explain?
You have with you a bad loser. You see, I had given my confidence.
You were wrong again. Why can't you allow me to explain what went wrong?
No.
Maybe you need to hear that. You can't be interrupting the air when other people at home are willing to listen. Sir, we are talking to the public. We are trying to communicate with the public. You should allow us to talk. You should allow us to speak.
Hold on, Mr. Fani, I will come back to you.
You can't be interrupting fact.
Mr. Fani, I will come back to you. Hold on. All right, Otumba, I'll add it on.
Yes, you see, it is a situation whereby election took place and observers came in from all over Nigeria. The reports which we have gathered so far, there might not be enough crowd that out of 100, there might not be as many as 75 or 99. But there were enough crowd for the OCS to determine an election whereby even if out of 100 and only 9 people took part in the election, That's a credible election.
Okay, but let me put this to you. There were media reports that day that some polling units, started late. But there were reports. Some of my reporters also on the field, reported that as at 8:45, they were still expecting electoral materials. Are you aware of that? Was that? Were those reports given to you by your
Yes, they were given to me. Okay. Let me tell you this: there has never been any election in Nigeria where all materials arrive at polling units at the dot of the time. For example, flat tire was reported in a place. At another point, what was to carry people to the exact place of the vehicle had some problems. But if instead of 8 o'clock, materials arrive at 8:45, we are instructed the people or the polling unit that extend the time by the number of periods that were late at delivering the material. And that is, if you lost 1 eye in the morning, had 1 eye in the afternoon. And the polling the presiding officers obeyed, because it's a personal instruction, because I want to address each one of them to say that, look, you are going to the field. Punctuality is essential. But if for any reason, and naturally, there could be some mistakes, there could be some oversight, and that's not natural.
All right.
So, at about 9:30, I started moving around with the media team. The NUJ were present. I took them around in various places to see what was going on there. There are places.
You put them. So those.
Because they were on ground, I invited them. Excuse me, sir. Why are you interrupting fact? You should allow people at home to listen to my side. You've been explaining, sir. I don't mean to be disrespectful, sir, but please listen to this. So maybe in the nearest future you can make better corrections. If you want to claim that the fault is not from your end, then you should check your people.
I agree materials arrive in some polling units.
Can I explain something, sir?
Mr. Fanibek, go on with your explanation. Okay.
You see,
go on with your explanation.
Apart from calling the DSS to make report, then I was fortunate to come across DSS, especially at Irema Ward 3 in Ileife. I called them and brought attention to what was going on there. I took them to more than six different polling units. At about 10, we met electoral officer just sitting down, doing nothing. Where is the material? And the material is supposed to be here when you are on seat. No, nothing came up. And the next thing is immediately.
What was the explanation given to you by the electoral officers?
They were well trained not to speak. Not to communicate. They just sat down there. I swear to God.
But I swear to God. I mean, no point swearing. Yeah,
the next thing I noticed was immediately the ballot boxes started arriving.
At what time was that? At what time was that? The electoral materials.
My own polling unit. My own polling unit is Irema Ward 3. Irema Ward 3. That is 007. If you can call the officer in charge, the police officer at that place, he will tell you. He got to a point, the man was so frustrated, he called on me and said, should I leave?
At what point did the electoral materials arrive your polling? After 10.
Yes, but immediately the material arrived. And few minutes before everything could be put together, hoodlums arrived. Even the policeman was beaten. He was beaten and
on this particular one, you won't blame Osiek for the destruction.
That's why you should listen to me.
That won't be the blame.
The only area of their own fault. Why I'm blaming them is not allowing us to inspect this thing.
But you just explained that. By their own rules, you are not expected to inspect the ballot papers the night before. You are expected to inspect the ballot papers at the polling unit.
I don't expect all ballot papers to be delivered at a particular dot. But one thing you should know is this: for us to have the trust, the confidence in Osiek, he needs to listen. So he can and for the case, but to make a better case in the honest future.
I don't know how much time you have.
Well, because we don't actually have much time because we need to open the phone lines now. But I like just before I let you go, Tumba, I like you to what do you think a court party should do? I mean, or what explanation have you to their complaints and grievances here?
Well, all he has said, two things. One, he did not inspect the materials at the headquarters. And I want to say that materials were sensitive material, ballot papers were at the banks where we kept them and were removed from where we kept them to go to be distributed at the headquarters to the something. We are not expected to come and look at the ballot papers. So they are 1,000. that is endangering even the sensitive materials. 2, materials are to be expected at the polling unit. You have enough. Have you brought in the required, etc.? If they did not do that,